technical aspects of our presentation so that our participants can actively participate in this 1-hour webinar. The title of the session, again, is Developing Programs to Support ASC Students Transition to Post-Secondary Opportunities. And facilitating that session for us today are two outstanding administrators in California Adult Education, Mr. Robert Beck, who is the principal at Pittsburgh Adult School, and Mr. Joseph Stark, who is the wonderful principal at Burbank Adult School. And they are going to be sharing their school stories with us and making sure that we understand how to support students' transition to post-secondary opportunities. The objectives for the session today, you will learn about creating individualized college and career transition counseling opportunities for your ASC students. You will learn about establishing strategic partnerships with local community colleges and workforce centers. And you will learn about designing customized curricular support and other related transition services to adult secondary education students. At the end of this presentation, we have a short time this afternoon for the entire presentation, but at the end we will save a little bit of time to allow for a general Q&A around the topic, and that will be an opportunity for you to get the answers to anything that might not be answered during the presentation this afternoon. So that's my welcome, and with that I'm going to turn it over to our presenters to begin their presentation, and I think Mr. Beck is going to be starting. So Mr. Beck, I'm going to let you take it from here, and thank you again for doing this for us, and thanks to the participants.
Thank you, Charisse, and again, welcome everyone. We hope that this will be informative for you. This was a new program for all of us. But before we get started, just a little bit about myself. As Charisse says, my name is Bob Beck, and I am the principal of Pittsburgh Adult Education Center. And my co-presenter today is Joseph Stark, principal of Burbank Adult School, and you'll be hearing from him in just a few minutes. A little bit about myself. I've been in public education for 38 years, and proud to say all of it in the Pittsburgh Unified School District. And I've been principal here at the PAC Center since 1997, and I've represented Contra Costa County adult education programs. There's 11 of them in our county on our county workforce investment board. And in 2004, I was privileged and honored to be named the adult education principal of the year. And presently, I represent Alameda and Contra Costa County adult education programs on ACCESS Adult Education State Council. So that's just to give you a brief overview that adult education is in my blood. I firmly believe in it, and I'm proud to say that my district, Pittsburgh Unified School District, also believes in the power and the importance of adult education to our community. As we get started this afternoon, we're hoping that move the right one here, get the right slide up, is we have a little reflection exercise for you, and we just want you to take a couple of minutes to respond. And we have two questions for you. What do you know about the challenges your students face in their transitions to post-secondary and or career options, and how do you know? And then the second one is all that famous, if you had the magic wand and plenty of funding, what types of support services might you put in place, and why? So why don't we take a couple of minutes and do some and we'd like to see your responses. So we've put up a responding boxes to the right. And I see some interest. We just don't have any of the responses up yet. Here we go. Gee, these comments are great. Okay, we have some right financial struggles our students definitely have. Paying for post-secondary ed, the gap in basic skills, something that we're all dealing with. High school students who come from families who never attended college, it could be daunting. Scheduling problems, correct. Juggling work and school. Okay, and then lack of college level English skills. We're finding that out too, that even the community colleges want college ready students with higher levels. Okay. Money seems to be a big factor. Bridge programs. There's a lot of bridge program ideas coming forth. How different schools are managing that, and even high school graduates. Many school districts are putting in bridge programs. Transportation, childcare, two big issues. If we had that magic wand, that's one of the most asked questions for us is, do we provide transportation and do we have child care? And more support services. These are great responses. Great. These are good, and if you think of any more, jot them down and maybe at the end. Full-time transition specialist. That's excellent, and more schools are putting resources there. So let's move on. Great, thank you. So policy to performance, or commonly called P2P overview. It was launched by the U.S. Department of Ed, Office of Vocational Adult Education, and it supports the transitioning adults to opportunity. California was one of 8 states, and there was 10 pilot agencies selected in California. Fortunately enough, and lucky enough, was Burbank and Pittsburgh. And our goals were to increase the transfer rates of adult education students to post-secondary. As our strategic plan is being developed, we know how important it is for this transition to post-secondary is, and how we'll be gearing our programs and what we do to help ensure that our students have the opportunity for post-secondary education, whether it's at a community college, a four-year institution, or other post-secondary, and to foster an institutionalized climate that supports adult education transitions to post-secondary, that we change our own culture here in adult education. Whoops. Pittsburgh adult education has changed since the era of flexibility and where our students are coming from. We are part of the Pittsburgh Unified School District, and we were established in 1928. And believe it or not, we supersede the founding of the Unified School District. We were around before our local district became unified. In 2011-12, we served 10,982 students. That's down from previous years. Our enrollment has dropped. Our percentages have changed too. Right now, our adult secondary and ABEs is 36% of our enrollment, where ESL was 16. 2 years ago, that would have been reversed. Our largest program would have been English as Second Language learners. And in surveying our students and in our community, this large drop is due to non-English speakers not staying in the area. They're not moving up from out of the country because the job prospects here have not been great. The cost of living high. They do not see any opportunity here, or those that are here are working 2 and 3 jobs, and school is not that important right now. Survival is. So our ESL population has dropped, but those coming for ASE and ABE has increased. Our career tech has increased. It's now 27%. And our lifelong learners, we're still able to offer a full lifelong learner program in older adults in health and safety and adults with disabilities, and that's 21%. An area that we would like to see larger and grow is our parent education. And we only have a 1% of our enrollment there. In doing our surveys, 39% of students who attend PAEC do not have a high school diploma or GED, and that shows an increase, and that correlates to our increase in our ASE ABE enrollments. If you look at our demographics, it's almost 2 to 1 female. We have a large Hispanic enrollment, which mirrors our school district. Our white population, you can see, is 24%. Our African American is 19%. Our Asian is 8%. We had some definite needs. We didn't have a direct pathway or collaboration that was organized to help our students transition to the community college or other post-secondary opportunities. We had parts of a transition program, but they were fragmented. It really wasn't a program. It was a service here and a service there. We do have academic counselors, fully credentialed counselors, but we didn't have anyone who focused solely on career counseling or career pathways specialist. This grant gave us the opportunity to put all of our ideas together and come up with this need. Over the years, and especially since I've been here, we have tried many times to articulate and collaborate with the community colleges, but we're not successful. And it would depend on who you knew at the community college to get a inroad there, and we would work with that person until that person got reassigned or left, and then we would have to start over again building a relationship. Right now, I can say in Contra Costa County, we are building a strong relationship with the community college district. The chancellor's office has seen the importance of adult education and that bridge that we talked about earlier. So we've been working with them at the chancellor's level. One of the vice chancellors has been working with a committee of adult educators here in Contra Costa County, and we are formulating an articulation and opening the doors for a bridge program for all 3 of the major campuses in our community college district. And I'm pleased to say that our transition program looks like it's going to be the model for how we introduce a bridge program and a transition program from adult education to the community colleges. It is definitely still a work in progress, but we meet on a regular basis with the vice chancellor. And a problem that we've noticed with our students, and it's across many of the adult schools, is that students were afraid to leave the environment of PAC to attend community college. They like the welcoming environment, they like the family atmosphere that's here, and they were afraid to venture further. They'd like to stay here and not move it and do everything they could here. So we have some students that have been with us for many, many years who are afraid to take that step forward to other post-secondary. We did have a lot of successes, and there were some challenges in the P2 program. We did recruit, we did hire a full-time career specialist that works with not only our transition program, but she's working with our CTE program to strengthen it and give it strong leadership. We were able to recruit 35 students to participate in our first cohort, and 20 of them actually started community college in January. 18 of those students were able to get the counseling appointments and develop their educational plan. And 18 of the initial 21 completed their first semester and were planning on continuing in summer or fall. So great successes there. And some of our challenges were that students, because the majority of them were first-time college students, they had a hard time finding classes because of the shortage, and the enrollment influx at the community colleges were already full, so some were very discouraged. Some of our students who were enrolled concurrently at both PAC and college were not attending PAC as regularly, so it was hurting our attendance. So we had to work out that challenge with the students to show the importance and how they could do both. Financial aid, as many of you commented in the reflection, most of all our students were dependent on it, and trying to work through the financial aid system was daunting to some. And our transition specialist, Suzanne Murphy, worked diligently with the financial aid office at the community college to help smooth the way. And the rigor of the courses at the college were very challenging for most of the cohort. They were not used to studying or doing college level work, so we had to work with them to make sure that they had skills and give them support classes here to help them meet success at the college. So some of our key connections with the community colleges is outreach representative and student services. We make sure to be included in their list of school sites. What we found out is on the community college registration form, it lists all the high schools and all the other educational ventures, but not the adult schools. So it's hard to track our students going in, because there's nowhere on the registration form that says they came from Pittsburgh Adult School or from another adult school. Arranging to have college assessments of both English and math placement given at the adult school. We were able to work out that. We were also arranged key college tours for our prospective students to help them assimilate to the college and show that it was a friendly and safe environment for them and that they would do well. Counseling offices. Students needed to develop an educational plans prior to enrolling for their first semester. Again, our transition specialists worked by providing a series of workshops for them and working with them individually and using some of our other support staff to help develop these plans. The rules and guidelines of financial aid. And again, that office personnel would change, and our students would get lost. Again, our transition specialists played an important part in kind of opening the doors. And career centers, students can take advantage of workshops of career exploration once they've filled out the application. So these key connections help bridge the way for our students to transition to the community college. And here's a list of some of our workshops. And because we have a day program and a night program, our campus is basically open from 8 in the morning to 10 at night, Monday through Friday, and even on Saturdays. So we have college orientation and helping to fill out the college applications and FAFSA and certificate programs and transfer information and how to get prepared, and important the lines. The college tour. Los Medanos College is our closest community college. Actually, it's less than a mile away from our campus. And we have a great relationship now with Los Medanos College. So we have a lot of career exploration workshops that actually take place there, so our students get a feeling for the college. We also do English and math assessment for college placement. These are taken here at the adult school in one of our computer labs. And then overcoming the obstacles of achieving college and career success. We work with them so that they can meet that success. We advertise workshops. We work with them. Our transition specialist goes into the classrooms. Support in our current classes. We have used P2 funding for multimedia carts with LCD laptops and document cameras for teachers to have mini seminars during their regular lessons on time management and study skills, and a lot of the soft skills in helping a student to overcome challenges for post-secondary. We offer elective courses to our current high school diploma students on college and career readiness. We have a Saturday math assistance class so that students can assess their skills and work on areas that they need to improve. And we have established a career and transition center on campus for our students to use. We do have some advice. Is contact the other P2P agencies. We're all willing to help each other make this program successful for our students. Share their flyers and brochures. Designate someone to be in charge, to coordinate and spend the time to set up the program. As an administrator, that is money and time well worth to find the right person and let that person set up the program. Establish the connections with the local community college if not in place. That's a key to find that right door and that right person. And determine student readiness to be in the program. How close are they to a high school diploma or GED? Work cooperatively with the academic counselors and with the teachers. And what support services can be provided, whether it's mentoring, college readiness assignments, counseling, and or college and career planning. Make sure everyone is aware of the program. Students need to know this resource so when they're ready. One of the questions we asked on our student survey program is, were you aware of a transition program? If you are, how did you find out about it? If not, then they could give their responses. So we're doing a whole marketing effort to make sure our students know that we do have a program. And then make sure that the whole school is on board with the program, that we have complete tie-in with the entire school community. Excuse me. We feature our transition program at our professional development days. We make sure our transition specialist is out front as a leader of our and part of our leadership team. So our teachers will use her as a resource, and that also fosters our program and gets the buy-in. So with that, I'm going to stop. I know we presented a whole lot of information. The PowerPoint will be available to you so that you could go through our slides. Again, our contact information is there. And now to get a different perspective on how the P2P program, I'd like to introduce to you Joseph Stark, the principal of Burbank Adult School. Joe?
Well, thank you so much, Bob. It's a pleasure to be with you this afternoon, and I certainly hope you're all warm and dry wherever you are. And certainly, I thank you for taking the time to participate in the webinar this afternoon. I hope you're learning a lot. We are presenting a lot of information, but I hope you're finding some interesting tidbits and things that, at the very least, will get you thinking about how you can make an impact in your programs and build upon and implement maybe some things you're already doing. Also want to thank Barbara and Charisse for getting us up and running here at CalPro. Really appreciate it. And once again, thank you, Mr. Beck, for presenting. And it's a pleasure to be presenting with you. Just to talk a little bit about Burbank Adult School, we are part of the Burbank Unified School District. Burbank is located about 11 miles north of downtown Los Angeles. We have Glendale and North Hollywood as our neighbors. Our yearly enrollment is around 5,000 students. Our biggest programs at this time are ESL and academic, so that would be adult secondary and ABE. We are also seeing some shifts regarding enrollment. ESL has traditionally been the largest program for us. However, we are seeing an increasing percentage of adult secondary education as well as career and technical education students in our program. So we are seeing some shifts there. We're also seeing an increase in our personal enrichment category as well, which is our fee-based category. So that's actually good news for us, and certainly our district is happy about that because that's bringing in a little bit of revenue for us. In terms of demographics, it is predominantly female, as you can see, and so we're seeing that trend the last few years. You can just see some of the kind of the demographics there. Most of our students who do come to us do not have a high school diploma or degree when they come to our program. Our major ethnicities here are Latino. We do have a high Armenian population as well as an Asian population here in Burbank. I actually forgot to tell you a little bit about myself. Kind of just wanted to keep on schedule here, but just quickly, I'm the principal of Burbank Adult School. I've been in Burbank here since 2006 and principal since 2009. And I'm fortunate enough to be on the California Department of Education Adult Education Office Field Partnership Team. So I'm representing Region 11B. So if there's any Region 11 folks out there, I want to give you a shout out. So moving on, at Burbank Adult School, we really know that helping students plan for career and college transitions is a major topic in adult education today. And we know the reason for this is that the economic and labor market projections tell us that without post-secondary training or education, our adults will find it virtually impossible to find employment that will pay a living wage. Now at BAS, when we were interviewing students and doing some surveys a few years back, we found that as they were exiting our program, we found a significant number of them indicated they just weren't sure about their college readiness. There was a high degree of uncertainty there, and certainly being unclear and apprehensive about, first of all, what the next steps were in planning their transition to post-secondary, and then just, some real apprehension about actually taking those steps and following through. We were thrilled when the P2P grant opportunity came up, and we felt very fortunate to be one of the 10 pilot agencies. We were excited to apply because we knew it would serve as the catalyst to design and implement a more robust transition program for our adult secondary ed students at our school. We did have some elements in place, but this was really just kind of a golden opportunity for us to really kind of put the throttle to the floor a little more and really develop something that was robust. And the centerpiece of our program was really the addition of a full-time college and career counseling position, and certainly the collaborations with our local community colleges here and Workforce Center. We really feel that those elements in particular contributed most to the success of our students. And that's really what it's all about. And so I want to share some of our data here. So let's talk a little bit about some of the results. We feel we had some very promising student outcome data, as you can see on the slide. We started with a fairly large initial cohort of students in the fall of 2011. I say large because I think in comparison to some of the other P2P agencies, we kind of cast a pretty wide net, which maybe was just us being, really ambitious. I don't know, but I think that's something I want to address a little later in terms of lessons learned. But we were able to retain 70% of the initial cohort through the spring semester, so we were pretty happy about that. And of the active students who were still in our program, 80% ended up enrolling in a college class by the end of the spring, and in many cases we had students who were dual enrolled with the adult school, so they were taking a college class for college credit and then also getting high school credit here at the adult school, either elective or practical art. We also implemented something new for us, which was some college assessment preparation classes, kind of, similar to what we do with Casey Prep, kind of that boot camp type workshop, format. And the assessment, the entrance assessment that's used here locally with Glendale Community College and Los Angeles Valley College is what's known as the AccuPlacer assessment, which I think is one of the major assessments that the colleges use. I think the other one is called Compass. I think those are the two major ones. So we had good participation and some good results there with offering some of those services as well, kind of in that academic category. So talking about curriculum and instruction, as I stated earlier, one of the greatest benefits to our students, and this is without a doubt, was the individualized counseling approach that was part of P2P. I noticed there were a few comments from the participants about that, gee, I wish, we could offer something similar to that. I can tell you that it's made a huge difference and was certainly one of the, I think, the greatest benefits to our students, and probably the thing that was that we heard directly from students is making the most difference. Each student had an individualized action plan, which was updated at least 2 to 3 times a month. Students met one-on-one with our counselor to plan not only what they needed to accomplish at the adult school, but the focus was more on what steps they needed to take in planning their transition from the adult school. So students knew the expectations up front, and that they needed to complete the college counseling appointments, the college placement assessments, the financial aid workshops, etc. We've really found the IAPs to be a very useful accountability tool as well, both for students and the school. And I believe we'll be sharing later on the P2P website. I believe they'll have a sample of that IAP. If not, we can make sure you can get those if you're interested in that, so you can see what it looks like. And so we also provided some individualized tutoring in some cases, which was very valuable in terms of certain students who might have been struggling in particular subjects, to have that service. As I said, we did some test preparation classes regarding the AccuPlacer. We also partnered with Glendale Community College on providing the campus tours, financial aid workshops, and assessments. And I'll tell you what was great about working with GCC was that they would actually come to our campus to provide the outreach services. Our students really appreciated this. We were also able to partner with Los Angeles Valley College to provide a specially funded college class on our campus, and it was exclusively for our students, for our P2P students. The class, which was called Personal Development 20, was a valuable transitional class we found for our students because it covered a number of topics, what we'd say transition topics, such as adjusting to college, study skills, choosing majors, career planning. Then, of course, these objectives really correlated and complemented the activities that were identified on the students' IAPs, and so the college and career counselor was working with them closely on all those objectives. So, again, a lot of these elements we are planning to carry forward, but those were really the focus items for last year. Speaking about partnerships and collaborations, for many years, our adult school was fortunate enough to receive support from many local organizations and businesses in the community to support student scholarships. However, I really think P2P positioned us to approach other organizations for their support. And one example of that would be we were able to get 2 new scholarships from our local Rotary Club. And I think one of the reasons for that is they knew that with P2P, we were really serious about getting students to college. We were really making that effort, and much more of an involved effort. So I think they felt that their contributions would be utilized effectively and would benefit those in need. And so I think that was sort of a nice bonus for us, is that we're able to get some scholarships for our students, which is great. I mean, to have that, financial support for our students. We also partnered with our local Burbank Workforce Connection Center. So they are attached to the local Verdugo Job Center, which is the local workforce development regional center. And so there's a satellite office in Burbank, and so we partnered with them. They were able to come to our campus, do some really great workshops and outreach for our students about their services. Again, their services are more in the area of job resources and trying to connect students to employment opportunities. So that's been a really great partnership. I mentioned the class in partnership with Los Angeles Valley College that was on our campus. And what was great about working with Glendale Community College is that they already had a college outreach program created, and it was called GCC Bound. And the beauty of that is that it incorporated many of the objectives identified on our students' IEPs, and they were willing to customize their services for the needs of our students. So we feel like in many ways we've kind of lucked out in our work with GCC. They've just been so tremendous to work with. But again, as we're talking about a lot of these elements, some of these things may require funding, some not. The GCC Bound program, which had already kind of been up and running there at our local community college, that didn't, and that doesn't cost us anything, and they're willing to work with us on a number of those outreach kind of elements that we've been talking about. So I think that's important to mention too, because we all know that funding is incredibly tight, and so to find those areas where organizations can partner without necessarily creating a financial burden is certainly key. In terms of lessons learned, I would say, as a general rule, when you're trying to implement something new, I always feel it's better to pilot something on a smaller scale and get good results than to try something on perhaps a larger scale and get sort of mediocre or poor results. So in our case, we started with what we felt was a relatively small and manageable cohort of students. And, we just wanted to make sure that the workload was manageable for us. I think it's really important, too, to have some sense of what your students' needs are before putting, certainly any resources into a project. I think sometimes you may think students have a certain need for a program or intervention, only to discover that once you get into the project, their needs may be different. And certainly it's okay to be flexible as needs change. As adult educators, I think we adapt better than anyone. We're certainly used to that. We had done, as I said, some student surveys and interviews, and so we felt we had a fairly accurate picture of what pieces we wanted to implement that would have a positive impact on student achievement. Again, with starting small, you probably have a greater likelihood of meeting your performance targets. I think it's important, certainly, to be realistic about goals and what outcomes are going to be achievable, given the challenges we and our students are up against. I mean, let's face it, we're all dealing with some pretty monumental challenges, and so we want to make sure that as we're putting programs forward and monitoring them, that we are getting some good outcomes and good progress, and sort of making that case to our stakeholders, whether it's school board, whether it's district staff, or your local staff at your school. Certainly the success of your project is highly dependent upon the staff involved, and certainly they need to be clear on the roles they play in the process. And finally, I think it's important to plan for a sustained effort over the long term, and to kind of plan your check-in points along the way to make sure you're making progress toward your objectives. It gives you an opportunity to make changes and modify things to be more effective. And so that was kind of the beauty of P2P. There, we had regular conference calls, and so we were able to network with not only CDE staff, but the other agencies that were participating in the P2P project, which really helps to have that network going. So talking about next steps and future plans, again, I mentioned the sustainability piece, which was always important for us even before we applied for the grant. For this current school year, we are maintaining our full-time equivalent at 1 FTE counseling position. We have recruited our current cohort, student cohort, and have planned our activities for this semester. Our classes started in mid-August, so from then to the end of September, the counselor met with the students and the initial round of IAPs were completed. Then the monitoring meetings with students are, sort of what we call the case management piece, if you will continue through December. We just had our college tour at Glendale Community College this week, and it went really well. We had about 50 students who went, and we actually opened it up to some ESL students as well, which was great. They really just had a blast over there. It was wonderful. We provided the transportation, and so included in that was a financial aid workshop, and students will be able to submit their online applications as well, so they'll be meeting with the counselor to work on those. We've scheduled the Accuplacer tests here at the adult school, and that's going to happen next month. And once again, I know there was a question. I appreciate someone answering it for me. Accuplacer is one of the entrance assessment tools that the colleges use, and I believe it's one of the major ones. I think the other major one you may have heard of is Compass, but again, here locally it's Accuplacer. And so Glendale Community College will be coming to our school to do the testing, which is great. And then from November to the end of the semester, the counselor works with students to get them to complete their online application for spring classes, financial aid, and then to enroll in our PD20 class I talked about. We're going to be running that again in the spring. We also, as I said, want to expand our outreach a little bit to include some students in our AB and ESL classes as well. So maybe some presentations and including them on some of these trips that we're doing and college visits. We just want to make sure that, as Bob said earlier, it's just critical that students are aware of these services and what's available to them. Part of these presentations may include an overview of our career and technical education programs as well. That's certainly part of post-secondary. So community college is one piece, but also the post-secondary training and career tech ed is also important. I don't know about you, but I find, even at a relatively small school that we are, it's pretty amazing how a lot of students and even staff really aren't aware of some of the quality CTE programs that we offer. Okay, so recommendations, as I said, clearly assessment of student needs, I believe, is key and should be a part of the planning process when it comes to program development. That can take a number of forms. They can be focus groups, if you're going through WASP, that kind of thing. surveys, interviews. I really think it's an important step so that the efforts you're making really directly address students' needs and everyone is on board with and understands what you plan to do at your school and why. We know we're in an extremely challenging budget environment and everything is a tough sell. And so I think building a strong case for a particular program is key. My biggest recommendation is if there's any way you can find some funding to fund a even a part-time transition specialist, college career counselor. As I said earlier, I think that's just made a tremendous impact in assisting students to make that transition successfully. Whether you're talking about connecting them to post-secondary or career, we've seen it here, and we've received huge support, not just from our adult ed staff, but of course our students, and from our district as well. We were fortunate enough to be recognized this past summer with a CASAS Promising Practice Award, and it was related to our P2P project. So we made sure we went to the board because there was a video produced as well by CASAS, which was really nice of them to do that. So we made sure our district and board were aware of, really the difference this made with students in their achievement. And when you have something successful in place, you really, I think we're all in a position, we really got to tout that success and make sure people understand the impact that we're making and how valuable we are. It's critical to communicate that success as much as possible. And certainly having some good data to back it up is also, I think, a great idea. So I am kind of wrapping up my part of the presentation. And so I would invite you at this time to look at some of our closing reflection questions. And we will have the chat pods, which are coming up at this time. So we just want to give you a few minutes to respond to some of these questions. Again, we know that we've given you a lot of information and provided you, hopefully, with some, a lot to think about. I think it's important to say, by no means am I saying this is the only way to do it. I just feel that there have been some things that we have been working on that have been successful. And as Bob said, so perfectly, it is a work in progress, no doubt about it. Again, thank you so much for joining us. We will share. I know there was a question earlier about getting some more information. I believe the presentation will be available on the CalPro site, and then in addition, we'll be sharing I think it's the next slide when we're done with the chat pods, the link to the P2P website, and you'll be able actually to download all the final reports from the 10 P2P pilot agencies. And what'll be nice is you'll get a lot of information, kind of a nice overview of what we talked about this afternoon. So kind of an overview of what each agency did, the lessons learned, recommendations, etc. So I think it might be worth checking it out. So we have some comments, questions coming in. Yeah, funding. Boy, that's a big question, isn't it? Again, I always want to kind of approach this subject delicately because obviously that's a local, issue and a sensitive one for many schools and districts. I think that when you're looking at some funding sources that you have, I mean, obviously this year we are not getting P2P funding. That was a 1 year only, and so in our case, we've looked at some of our WIA funding to see what elements we could pick up with that. And certainly some of our general fund dollars. Yes, we're still lucky enough to be giving a lot of our general fund dollars, although that has been impacted as well. So I think, again, from a budget perspective, you just kind of have to see what's available, and we're all certainly in a position where we're kind of looking at making some tough choices. And I think, this issue of transitioning students to college and post-secondary, certainly one that is addressed in the state plan, which I know is being shared in terms of implementing some of the strategies there. for transitioning students to post-secondary and college. It's a huge effort that we're all going to be involved in. So again, not getting into too much specifics, but certainly I think you can look at some of your available funding, and it may involve having to make some choices about what what you're going to be able to fund. I just want to make a few more comments, and then I will turn it over to Bob, and he might have a few final comments as well. Again, starting small, yes, that's important. Influencing current students, yeah, absolutely. I think it's important, as I said earlier, in doing that assessment and really engaging students, whether you're talking about interviews, focus groups, getting them thinking about this issue is certainly one that we've done as well. We've had a couple events on our campus in terms of just trying to get students aware of college and post-secondary. We do, College Day, where students and staff come in college, gear, and we've invited students back who've been successful in post-secondary or college, and had them come back and do some presentations. There's lots of things I think that you can do that don't necessarily cost money too, and I think that's important to bring that up. In terms of connecting with community colleges, yeah, I noticed a few comments there. Where we started, at least with Glendale Community College, is their outreach student services center, which handles their outreach. I don't, each college is a little different maybe in how they handle it, but I think certainly that's not a bad place to start. And being persistent. Again, we were fortunate enough to get a very good response from the local community colleges here, but I think in some cases it's challenging and it's not easy, and you have to be persistent. I did want to give Mr. Beck an opportunity to respond as well, so I'm going to mute my mic and turn it over to Mr. Beck.
Thanks, Joe. Just very quickly, I echo just about everything that Joe has said. Persistence. You need, when you're working with the community colleges, you got to get that door cracked open, and you have to be persistent and keep going back and going back and going back until you find the right person. And once you find the right person, then the doors do open and the partnerships are formed. In trying to find out how to do it, most adult schools have fragments, as I said earlier. Put your fragments together and you have a transition program and find the right person. We were lucky to have a great VP, Lynn Nicodemus, who helped put this grant together and shepherd it. And we found a great transition specialist. Leverage your funds, as Joe said. You can find the funding, start small, build on it, and then start applying for grants, but use some of your available funding. And I know our time is short, so I think I'll stop there, but you have our contact information. Call us, email us, text us. We'll be glad to give you any information that we can. Thanks.
Great. Thank you, Joe and Bob. You've done a wonderful job this afternoon in presenting this webinar and helping us understand how to successfully transition our adult secondary education students into post-secondary through what you did in both of your programs. They were great examples, and I know it was appreciated by all. For the participants, I want to make sure that you know that we do have the PowerPoint available for you here. If you look on the bottom middle part of your screen, you should see a chat box that says click on the file to select. If you click on that, you will be able to click on that file and save it to your computer, and that will be this afternoon's PowerPoint, and it will provide you with what you heard today. And of course, you can always go back into our archives if you want to hear it, in addition to having the PowerPoint as a hard copy. I'm going to also ask that in closing you complete our survey. The chat pod to the right has in it our survey link, so if you could take a moment to click on that and complete it. And then if you would like a certificate for your 1 hour participation in today's webinar, please also email Barbara Carruthers and she will be happy to get that to you. And just a few more announcements as it is 3 o'clock. This is the first of our webinars for administrators, and we have 2 more that will be coming up this year in December. On December the 4th, we will have a webinar on the Council on Occupational Education, and then on December 5th, we'll have an Administrators Forum webinar on NCAP, the National Career Awareness Project. So I hope that you will join us then. Those will both be at 2 o'clock in the afternoon on a Tuesday and a Wednesday. Thank you again for your participation. We look forward to seeing you again soon. Have a great afternoon. Bye-bye.